So what is going on, guys? Box here and welcome to a brand new season of F1 2021. Now, as you can kind of see from the backdrop, we have joined Red Bull, and you'll probably tell from the thumbnail anyway. We've joined Red Bull, so it's going to be a pretty interesting season, especially when you see some of the driver transfers. I'm yet to have an official email through with all the driver transfers. I'm sort of waiting on that to come through. Driver retirement, yeah, from our old team boss. Fernando did retire from F1. At the minute, I can't see any sort of reveal of driver transfers. I can tell from the standings, but I'll talk through that in a minute. If I can just have an email which tells me, it would be so much easier. But anyway, let's take a look at the car. We all know what the Red Bull looks like, but let's take a look at this fancy cinematic. Okay, still no email from the team to tell me all the driver transfers. So I've got some more resource points coming through now, so we may as well get in, start talking about driver transfers. We'll talk about R&D of the car and what the plan is. And the first Grand Prix is not too far away. It's Bahrain. Got a different calendar as well this year. So let's start with the... Oh, here you go. Here's our teammate, Daniel Ricciardo. Let's start with the driver transfers. So Daniel Ricciardo is our teammate. So Red Bull, 2 brand new drivers. Alpine will have 2 brand new drivers as well. Of course, Alonso retiring. Us moving on to more fruitful ventures, hopefully. But Red Bull, interestingly enough, re-signing Daniel Ricciardo, who has a 99 rating this season. That is crazy. So, yeah. Red Bull mean business. They've signed Daniel Ricciardo as an experienced driver, you know. Verstappen's gone elsewhere, as you can see. So they needed to replace him. Daniel Ricciardo, solid choice. And us as an up-and-coming driver, you know, that's a pretty solid choice as well. So take a look then at this. So Hamilton stays at Mercedes. Bottas joins Alpine. So, you know, Alpine thinking Bottas a good replacement for Alonso. I think so too. That is good. That is good for Alpine. Max Verstappen, Mercedes. Oh, that is going to be a fiery lineup. But Mercedes going all out, trying to defend their crown. They don't want to lose their run of form at the minute. I think they're on like 7 consecutive championships. They don't want to lose that, so they signed the hottest property in F1, Max Verstappen. So Red Bull had to react. Daniel Ricciardo, he moves to Red Bull. Charles Leclerc stays at Ferrari. We join Red Bull as well. So Red Bull think that we can take the fight to Mercedes. I think we can too, but we'll see. Lando Norris stays at McLaren. Sainz stays at Ferrari. Gasly stays at AlphaTauri. Vettel jumping ship to McLaren. That's an interesting move. Stroll stays where he is. I mean, you don't expect him to leave his father's team, do you really? Tsunoda stays at AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri staying as they are. Giovinazzi stays at Alfa Romeo. George Russell, he moves to Aston Martin. So there you go, Brit going to a British team, Aston Martin. He couldn't quite get the Mercedes seat. Mercedes managed to sign Verstappen instead of Russell. But yeah, Russell at Aston Martin. Mazepin stays at Haas. Mick Schumacher stays at Haas. You sort of expect Schumacher maybe to go to, don't know, Ferrari. Latifi moves to Alfa Romeo. Ocon rejoins the sport after we replaced him last season. He joins Williams. Got a new driver from F2, Zhou. He joins Alpine in replace of us. And Lundgaard joins Williams as Latifi and George Russell both moved on to 2 different teams. So there you go, driver transfers. Pretty interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. It's going to be interesting to see how Bottas gets on, because when you look at the R&D tree, Alpine are 3rd in the R&D charts, although we know from personal experience that they struggle aerodynamically and chassis-wise, but they got a strong power unit, so we're going to have to watch out for them. In terms of our season, then slightly different. We're going to be going to Bahrain as the season opener, and Brazil is our season finale, so I thought that would be interesting. Throwing Russia back in the mix, Monaco back in the mix, Hungary in the mix. I can't remember if we did Hungary last season. I don't think we did. So yeah, some new tracks in there. A few taken out. Zandvoort taken out. Can't remember what else we took out. But yeah, there you go. That's season. Oh, here you go. What else did we take out? Singapore, that was it. Singapore we took out. Abu Dhabi we took out. Australia we took out. Controversial, but I wanted Brazil to be the season finale, and that was the only way I could do that. But yeah, there you go. Very interesting season ahead of us, I think. In terms of R&D, that's the next thing you're going to want to talk about, isn't it? R&D. So this is the R&D tree. Same as last season, pretty much, I think. I don't know if there's going to be a shuffle by the time we get to the first race or what. We'll have to wait and see. As you can tell at the minute, everything is as it was pretty much last season. So, yeah, literally no one's moved. So wait till we get to the next round. Although I think it might change a little bit. But for us, a part has failed on the chassis. So first things first, maybe we want to get in and fix this. How much is this going to cost us? Minor part, 570. Well, you know, it's not going to come in till after the first round, so we'll get that. We'll get that going. Got some new upgrades through apparently. I don't really know what Red Bull were focusing on last season, but you can see it's pretty tight at the top. We've got the best chassis. Mercedes have a slightly better aero package in terms of the engine. I suspect Mercedes have a better engine as well. I don't think there's anything we can really do right now. I know an upgrade requires Facility Spec 3. Hopefully that comes through soon. I presume it will come through this season, but we can't do any powertrain upgrades until we get this third facility, so that's a bit odd. Durability wise, Red Bull, where are we? Let's take a look. We're top. We've got a very reliable car, which is good. AlphaTauri also very reliable, but Alpine, we know that isn't the case. So, what we want to get in and do? Well, we've got enough for a minor upgrade, or I can save it up. Or do we want to keep nice steady development going? Well, we probably should get on with some upgrades to... Oh, we can't do anything really. Haven't got enough resource points, so we're just going to have to skip on a little bit. Here we go. What we got? Personnel upgrade, here we go. Have we got the upgrade we need? Are we spec 3? I think we are, look at this. I think we're spec 3, so we now can... Yeah, we now got a few more upgrades to be able to do. But look at that. Alpine, we did a lot of work with Renault and Alpine last season to get Alpine to the top of the stack, so there you go. For us then, we're just going to have to save up some R&D points really and get into the opening round, which is going to be the Bahrain Grand Prix. Here we are then in qualifying, our first qualifying session with the Red Bull team. Hopefully, we'll be able to get on the front 2 rows at least. You'd expect that, being that Red Bull and Mercedes are the fastest cars. Okay then, so let's just skip on a little bit in this session and we'll see what everybody's times are going to be like. And then, yeah, let's go out now. Got the soft tyres on, happy with the car setup. Let's just see if we can pump in the lap. So a 25.9 is the time to beat set by both Mercedes drivers. Verstappen and Hamilton both set in 25.9s. We go 26.6, 0.2 off of Bottas. So we're going to have to go again for another lap. So currently Daniel Ricciardo 25.6, very solid lap time from Daniel Ricciardo. 0.2 quicker than both Mercedes, so there is pace in the car. We're a second off of that pace. We can easily get into the top 4, I think. So on our second run, looks like we're only going to gain 0.3. Where's that going to put us? P4 though. 0.3 off of Verstappen. So yeah, fastest final sector, that really helped us out, but the middle sector and the first sector, we probably should have improved, but that's it for qualifying.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best at turn 1 of course, and then another soon into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice. They've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Ricciardo, Vettel, Valtteri Bottas, and Leclerc, Norris, Sainz, Gasly, and Ace, Joe, Stroll, George Russell, and Tsunoda, Latifi, Giovinazzi, Esteban Ocon, and Nikita Mazepin, Lundgaard, and Mick Schumacher. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right then, so pretty disappointing in the end. Loads of people seem to go a lot quicker, so I can't go for the alternate strategy. We're just going to have to go with what we've got. The other thing we can do is slightly undercut, but I don't think it's going to work well around here. So let's take some fuel out of the car, and then yeah, we'll just go racing. Let's see what we can do from P10 on the grid. Right, lights about to go out then. Got our sister team just there. Gasly probably wanted our seat for this season, didn't he? But Red Bull elected to go for ourselves, and who's out on the left? It is our former team, Alpine. Here we go then, up the inside. Got to make up as many positions as possible, side by side with Bottas. In the Alpine, there's so much more grip from this Red Bull. Bottas is going to try it to the outside, but it's not going to quite work out for him. But Hamilton's had a poor start. Who's this? It's Bottas once again. He's on our inside now. I'm going to get the outside, which becomes the inside for the next part of the corner, and he has to back out of that one. Let's take a replay of the start then. The number 88 ourselves versus the 77 of Bottas. You see, he just snuck alongside there. I didn't see it until last minute. He holds it around the outside, becomes the inside, but we managed to hold it again for the next inside line, and we managed to fend off that attack. So we've still got Bottas all over the back of us. I'm trying to hunt down Hamilton. We're trying to get under this 1 second time difference to him up the road just so we can get DRS on the next lap, but we'll have to see. Our strongest sector is the final sector. Purple through the first sector, so that's good. And Max Verstappen, former Red Bull driver, currently leading this race. And Charles Leclerc, P4, that's very good for him. Vettel, P3, doing exactly what McLaren signed him for, to get podiums for McLaren if they want to shoot for the top next season. Norris has struggled a little bit at the start of this. I can only presume Daniel Ricciardo is in P2 with Verstappen leading this one. Yellow flags out somewhere, I don't know what's happened. Oh, Sebastian Vettel with an engine failure. That Mercedes engine power unit needs improving, I tell you that. Sebastian Vettel from P3 for McLaren, a fantastic debut that would have been. He'd have been on for a good result then today, but it gives us a free position, promotes us to P5. So Hamilton chasing down Leclerc for P3 then. Picking up DRS then. I think I missed the first opportunity to use DRS on Hamilton, but we get it this time. Bottas still putting the pressure on behind us, reminding us that Alpine, they're a team not to be messed around with. Good run through the final corner. We're going to be pitting on lap 6. The tyres looking okay. But here we go then. Got the DRS on Hamilton. Bottas is a little bit far back. I've got overtake mode on, but I'm going to turn that off now. Approaching 213 miles per hour. Brake as late as we can. Send it up the inside of Lewis Hamilton. That was a bit tight. He holds on. Has allowed Bottas probably to close up a little bit. We're going to use DRS again. Any wing damage? No, not that I can see. Close up again to the back of the Mercedes driver. So we need to put the pressure on. Get ahead of Hamilton. It's crucial to get as many points on any Mercedes driver as we can, as I lose the rear end. That's going to put us under pressure from Bottas. Luckily, we've got the inside line. We can hold him off, hopefully. He's still side by side with Bottas. Alpine, they're haunting us. They're haunting us at the start of the season. Here he comes. He's going to get DRS on us. He's got the inside line. Just going to slot in behind him, I think. Yeah, unfortunately, we're back behind Bottas. Well, I say back behind Bottas. We're behind Bottas now. We've got to bounce back as quickly as possible. We're going to be back in the DRS zone on Bottas, following our former team. So this is what it was like to follow us last season. It's a lovely looking car, isn't it, that Alpine? He's going to be a bit of a sitting duck down here. He's going to go defensive. We're going to have to go to the outside. We've got the run on him. Brake as late as possible. Too late, in fact. He's going to run us off deep. Bottas back through. Ah, we need to improve at this overtaking. He's also picked up the DRS. Hamilton's fighting along with the Ferrari driver of Leclerc there, so this is allowing Bottas to catch up. Really mixing it up at the front, aren't we? This is what happens if you don't start from a good quali position, but that's not good news. Leclerc has lost out big time to Hamilton. Hamilton's through into that podium position, which puts 2 Mercedes on the podium, and our teammate Ricciardo as well. So we need to get ahead of Bottas, Leclerc, so a very competitive field. It looks like it's going to be this season. Got to keep the development race going as well. But we're going to be boxing on the next lap. We'll have to wait and see when Daniel Ricciardo pits, but looks like he's #1 driver anyway at Red Bull for now. Closing up in the final corner. Just got to get a good exit here. Deploy lots of overtake mode. DRS wide open, pit window open, everything's open. Let's see if we can go up the inside of Bottas here on the brakes. Just edge closer on the brakes, give him plenty of room on exit. Side by side with the Alpine. Job done. Now onto the back of Leclerc. He's less than a second up the road. We're going to be pitting on this lap, so I need to close this gap down as soon as possible. The tyres are feeling pretty worn, but the Red Bull, it reacts well. It's got a really good aero package and a strong chassis, and it makes such a big difference compared to that Alpine. So we were able just to hold the grip as we go side by side through some of those corners with Bottas. But Norris back there as well as Carlos Sainz. Right, we're going to be coming into the pits then. So we exit the final corner. Anybody else coming in? No, just us. So we're coming in early. Slap on some fresh tyres, some fresh mediums. Probably going to come out in some dirty air, I think, which isn't good, but let's get these tyres off.
Go now.
Pretty good pit stop, 2.5, quicker than the Alpine guys. What's the engine looking like in terms of wear? It's holding up. The ICE's taking a bit of a battering, so is the turbocharger, but yeah, we'll see. Let's keep going then. Gonna come out P17. About a 2-second gap here to Mazepin. Got Ocon behind in the Williams. Still Haas and Williams seem to be the slowest cars on the grid. That may all change come later on in the season, but we'll see. Let's put in some good laps here. Gaining loads of time on Mazepin. We'll have to send it up the inside. Daniel Ricciardo in the pits then. Let's see if he can challenge for the win here against Verstappen. Obviously Ricciardo's rejoined Red Bull. Verstappen sort of replaced him, and then Red Bull come crying back to Daniel Ricciardo like, please join us. But anyway, we're going to pick up the DRS, get off the dirty part of the track. So there is Lewis Hamilton, the undercut working an absolute treat. There's our teammate just up the road, and here's Hamilton right behind us. So we're going to be under pressure straight away from the 7 times world champion, 8 times world champion, I don't know now. Daniel Ricciardo going for a hard set of tyres. Has he just compromised his race here? Oh man, I hope not. But crucially for us, we've pulled it back and we're ahead of Hamilton. So Ricciardo's been held up a lot by Latifi. Not enough to give us DRS. There is Hamilton back there. We did set a purple final sector. We're obviously out ahead of Norris. And there is Max Verstappen, our race leader. Daniel Ricciardo P2, and we're P3 now back in the fight. Verstappen's gone for the right choice, the medium tyres. Let's see if Ricciardo can make the hards work on the Red Bull. And then we've got Hamilton right behind. So we've recovered well. Now it's about, you know, trying not to take out Ricciardo, but trying to chase after Max Verstappen if we can. It's so weird seeing him in the Mercedes. Yeah, Ricciardo's definitely struggling on these hard tyres. His rear is sort of squirming around a little bit. We've just got so much more corner speed, so just look at that. Just crazy close up through there. I don't want to get any sort of overtake going on at the minute. Just gonna get some cool air to the engine, brake as late as possible, and then we can go the slingshot, pick up the DRS and get a nice clean overtake on our teammate. Let's see how hard he defends. Oh, pretty hard. Little bit of a movement, but we're through anyway on Daniel Ricciardo. Max Verstappen next up. He's our race leader. Our race pace has been very strong to close down this gap. Pitting early really did work for us. So yeah, what's the gap? 1.7 to Verstappen. Here comes Ricciardo, obviously closing down with the DRS, but I don't think he's got the corner speed to go with us. He needs to focus on defending from Hamilton with just, 4 and a bit laps to go. So, an overtake unfortunately behind us. Daniel Ricciardo lost the DRS. He tried to defend from Hamilton, but it's no use. Those medium tyres, far superior grip. DRS, he's just a sit and duck down the straight really. So we're sort of plugging away a little bit at Verstappen. The gap's now 1.6, which is equidistant to Hamilton behind. Now our final sector is definitely our strongest, so we're closing that down. Look through the final corner, 1.5 seconds pretty much. I'm using a lot of ERS deployment at the minute just to catch up to Verstappen. And as the engineer says, the tyres need to go another 3 laps. I need to go on a charge to get into this 1 second gap, or else we're never going to get Verstappen. This is the closest we've been all race long, 1.2 seconds off. 2 laps to go now. Can we catch him? If we're going to be able to get it, it's going to be on the last lap if we get that chance. Final lap, 1.2 seconds still. Max he's retaliated. Ricciardo, he's holding on to Hamilton behind, and just got to pray that Verstappen makes a mistake. He's been absolutely bulletproof, as I'm really hesitant through turn 1. That has cost us big time. Look at that. That's cost us lots and lots of time. To Verstappen, a second loss for that first corner. Too much fuel on board. This Honda has a really efficient engine. We managed to save fuel over the course of this race. Look at that, second off on this lap. So we just sort of messed it up at turn 1. And that is how fine the margins are going to be this season. I've driven absolutely flat out, pretty consistent, my most consistent race ever I think, so we've got to be pleased with the performance. But it just isn't good enough for Max Verstappen. Joining Mercedes, he's been bulletproof this race, not a single foot wrong. Daniel Ricciardo made a mistake with a strategy, and that's about it really. For us, our mistake was qualifying, but we've brought it back. As long as we can hold on, we might be able to bring home a second place finish today. There you go then. Verstappen takes the win on his debut for Mercedes.
Yes, that's a podium. Excellent drive. The team have worked especially hard this weekend, and this is a fantastic reward.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. Quick look at how the driver standings have changed. Today's performance means Max Verstappen now owns the top spot in the Drivers' Championship. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, Who do you pick?
I have to give it to Ace. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace, something that's a very handy skill to have in modern day Formula 1.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula 1 action soon.
So then that has been it for this opening round of season number 2. We joined Red Bull, and what a good recovery drive that was. P10 to P2. So I'm looking forward to what's going to happen next time in this career mode when we head to Catalonia, I believe it is, for the Spanish Grand Prix. Hopefully a track that will suit our Red Bull a little bit better than the Mercedes, and we can take the fight to them. We've got plenty of time to get more upgrades onto the car as well, so we'll do that as well, focusing on power unit and aero, I think. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy these highlights. What a fantastic race that was, and a fantastic season we have ahead of us. So for now, as always, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one.